Where am I? I know it's following me. I can feel it. I shouldn't have taken such a risk. Sound. It's coming from the river. If it catches me, it will show no mercy. I know it's hidden somewhere in this forest. I should be able to see its light soon. At last, I can gather my strength and plan how to face that monstrous thing. The name's John Morley, private detective, and today is a momentous day. After enduring the most exquisite tortures at the hands of those blasted nurses, and being pumped full of enough medicine to fell an ox, today I'm finally free. Who would have thought that the case of the Red Shoes murder would end the way it did? A stormy night, soaked to the skin, wrestling that brainless killer on a rooftop. Then a slip and a 5-story plunge.
It appears you're awake at last. We had considerable difficulty rousing you earlier this morning, so I deemed it best to let you rest a while longer. I bring you good news. The latest test results are favourable, and the doctor has authorised your discharge. You are now officially ready to go. I have placed your belongings on the table. Oh, and a lady stopped by this morning with some clothes from the dry cleaner.
I've been having nightmares.
The doctor has prescribed some medication that should help address any residual effects. This should assist in alleviating your nightmares.
My belongings? I thought everything was already in the room.
There are a few valuables and some coins we kept for safekeeping. They are in the box on the table.
So I'm better now?
Yes, you are much improved. Both your physical and psychological assessments have been satisfactory, and there are no impediments to your returning to your normal life.
A woman brought my clothes from the dry cleaner. Was it Penny?
I couldn't say. She arrived quite early, before my shift began. I've placed the garments in the wardrobe to keep them from getting wrinkled. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other patients to attend to. I wish you all the best.
That's me, the bloodhound Morley. Story of my life. Nearly broke. I better get dressed. The hospital gown that ties in the back doesn't exactly scream professional. Blimey, what a fool I took onto that rain-soaked pavement. And to top it off, with that downpour, I ruined my best suit. But, well, that's all water under the bridge now, quite literally. I usually use the Windsor knot. So the mystery woman who took my clothes to the cleaners was Penny after all. Seems she's still got a soft spot for me. Could there be a chance I might win her over? Looks brand new. The collar's pristine. Well-structured shoulders, nicely padded. Gives off an air of authority. Keeps the crooks wary and catches the ladies' eyes. These do a fine job of hiding any belly. Can't complain about that. I should get myself a pair of derbies. Or brogues. They're much more comfortable. Besides, if I slipped, there's notes from Penny, my secretary. She must have left it here a few days ago while I was still under observation. Damn it, Penny. I don't blame her, though. I'm a right mess. I've managed to lose the only two things that kept me grounded. Her sound advice, always spot on, and the faint hope that she might dump Peter and give me a chance. I'm not ready to leave just yet. Rainy and overcast. Typical London weather. Blimey, it's nearly noon. I must have lost track of time in those blasted nightmares. Trench coat and fedora hat. Every detective's must have. I'd better hurry up. Just like Penny says in her note, I might have a new client this afternoon. And with the way things are going, I can't afford to let that slip away. All right, let's get moving. Today's the first day of the rest of my life. Back again. Feels like stepping into a forgotten paradise. Everything has got that same old charm, and yet feels oddly new. This hospital stint's given me a bit of a new outlook. Maybe I'll take it a shade easier from now on, sticking to cases that don't demand a trip to the morgue. Here they are, Penny's keys, just like it says in her note. This case is worth its weight in gold. Everything you need for a portable lab. The umbrella with a bullet hole. Souvenir from the marksman case. Nearly lost my hat on that one. This one's a favorite. The jealous lover solved everything with a few blows from an ashtray. Brutal, but effective. Penny's desk. I ought to give her a ring and try to sweet-talk her into coming back. If this new client brings in some decent dough, maybe I could settle what I owe her and use a little charm to win her over. So this is Peter. That smug grin's got "Punch Me" written all over it. The murder weapon from the cadaver collector case. Nasty business, that one. The case of the Red Shoes murder. One of the most complicated I've faced. Finally. Case closed. My desk, strangely tidy. Normally it's buried under papers, notes, bits of evidence. Penny must have wanted to leave everything spick and span before she walked out on me. Another one of my cards. But this one has my last name circled. The drawer. It's locked. But there doesn't seem to be a keyhole. The Scarlet Page. I trust Penny didn't go snooping through my things while I was away. Oh, my apologies, madam. I didn't hear you come in. I was a bit distracted.
Good afternoon, Mr. Morley. I trust your assistant informed you of my visit as promised.
My apologies. I was rather engrossed and didn't notice your arrival. To whom do I owe the honor of this meeting?
Lady Margaret Fordside, the 4th Countess of Bloomsbury.
Lady Margaret, could you tell me what brings you here today? How can I assist you?
I shall endeavor to be as candid as possible. 20 years ago, when my daughter was just 18, she was brutally murdered. It happened at our family estate, Bloomsbury Manor. Someone slipped into the house unnoticed, and upon reaching her room, delivered 5 fatal stab wounds to her chest, lungs, and heart. The police, eager to close the case, hastily blamed and condemned 2 violent thieves who clearly had nothing to do with her death. The investigation was closed, and justice was never served. I am prepared to offer you £30,000 if you take on this case, and a further £30,000 if you can solve it and bring the true killer to light. Tell me, Mr. Morley, will you accept this case?
I understand your distress, Lady Fordside. But before I commit to anything, might I trouble you with a few questions?
By all means, Mr. Morley. Ask whatever you must.
A case that's been cold for 20 years. You certainly don't make it easy for me, Lady Margaret. What made you decide to seek out a detective now?
For over 2 decades, I've fought tirelessly to have the case reopened, to prove that the real murderer escaped justice, but all in vain. Neither solicitors nor well-meaning police friends, nor even journalists hungry for a dark story have managed to uncover anything. Then one day, I read about your success in solving the case of the Red Shoes killer. Regrettably, I also learned of the unfortunate incident that left you hospitalized with grievous injuries. On the advice of your secretary, Miss Penny, I waited patiently for your recovery. And now, here I am.
Tell me about Bloomsbury Manor. Do you still reside there?
After Elodie's death, I abandoned the estate. I couldn't bear to remain there, to live within those walls. Even now, when I visit the manor, it still feels as though I can hear her footsteps echoing through the halls, her voice humming that old melody, the delusions of an old woman who has mourned her daughter for far too long, Mr. Morley. No mother should ever have to bury her child. Should you accept the case, Bloomsbury Manor would likely be the best place to begin the investigation. I shall not impede your work, as I now reside at Bedford Square, in the heart of the city.
Tell me about the men the police arrested. Why are you so certain they weren't guilty?
2 days after the murder, the police arrested a pair of violent thieves who were terrorizing the county at the time. Though they swore their innocence in my daughter Elodie's death, their criminal record completely undermined their defense. Seizing the opportunity, the police locked them away for their other crimes, and the case was closed. But what has always struck me as suspicious is that nothing was stolen on the night my Elodie was killed. If those thieves were truly the culprits, why would they murder her and then leave without taking a single piece of silver? It doesn't add up, Mr. Morley.
Tell me, were there any witnesses? Did anyone see or hear anything?
It happened at midnight. The house was practically empty at the time, with only a few servants and a guest who was sleeping in the west wing. I was the only one who might have heard something, as my room was next to hers. Unfortunately, I had taken a sleeping draught and fell into a deep slumber. It is a decision I shall regret for the rest of my days.
Well, I believe I have all the information I need to get started. I accept the case, and will begin the investigation immediately.
I'm pleased to hear that. My butler will bring you the £30,000 tomorrow morning. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have matters to attend to. Once you uncover the culprit, contact me at once, and I shall promptly deliver the remaining £30,000. Please, Mr. Morley, unravel this harrowing mystery that has tormented me for so long.
As I made my way through the dense forest path, a haunting silence enveloped the air. It was as though the very night of the crime still lingered here, shrouded in an eerie calm. The manor stood before me, its facade as inscrutable as the shadows that danced in the moonlight. Every step I took felt like a step deeper into the heart of a mystery that refused to be forgotten. Not a sound. The stillness feels heavy, like it's hiding something. This painting, it's rather grim. There's something deeply unsettling about it, almost like it carries a shadow of its own. A blue moon, fitting for a place haunted by its own secrets. Looks like the Countess left this for me. It could be useful for getting around the place. A globe resting in a beautiful wooden stand. So, the housekeeper left a note for the Countess, asking her to meet here on the day of the murder. I wonder what truly happened during that encounter. Very well. Let's piece the events together, step by step. The lock has been concealed. This door must open by some other means. 2 chairs, one of them knocked over. An empty envelope. Did the housekeeper hand the Countess a letter? Lipstick stains. Same shade the Countess wore when she visited my office. Looks like someone arranged tea in the library that day. The housekeeper's cup is still here. Tea spilled across the table. It seems they met here. But something went wrong during the conversation.
I am very angry. After all these years of service, this is how you repay me? Walking away like this?
I'm sorry, madam, but the situation has become unbearable. My bags are already packed.
The Countess threw the housekeeper out in a fit of rage. In her haste, the housekeeper forgot one of her bags. What was it that unsettled the housekeeper enough to abandon her post so suddenly? Another painting by Elodie. There's something deeply disturbing about her work. Lady Fortside, still seething, burned something in the fireplace. The housekeeper resigned. Seems something, or someone, troubled her greatly. Enough to break the long-standing family tradition tying her to this place. Looks like this is the Fordside family book, showing some of their ancestors. The Fordside family crest, a rampant dragon, a time-honoured symbol across European heraldry, particularly among the English and the Welsh. It seems Elodie had a passion for art, but her style wasn't exactly well received. Disturbing from the looks of it. The door's chained up with a padlock. Looks like I'll need to find the key. This must have been some sort of private study for the Countess. This looks like the key to the main hall. Could be my way into the heart of the house. A British passport. Lord Fordside was undoubtedly a man of the world. An old pocket watch. It probably belonged to Lord Fordside, Lady Margaret's husband. Lady Margaret and a young woman. I suppose it's Elodie. They look happy. It was undoubtedly a better time. Elodie was committed to a psychiatric facility, but she supposedly recovered from whatever ailed her. This door is locked as well. If the Countess wanted me to investigate, why didn't she leave the doors open? Layers of dried oil paint, left untouched for 20 years. It's as if time stopped the moment Elodie laid down her brush. Feels like the room's holding its breath. Looks like the last painting Elodie was working on was of a ship at sea. The whole gallery is filled with maritime references. She seemed quite obsessed with it. A man with his back turned, watching a ship go down. This door appears to lead out to the back garden, locked with a padlock. I'll need to find the key. Lady Margaret took special care to secure the house, restricting access to certain areas. Looks like some sort of clue. Trace the tree's journey from birth to decay. Follow the path of the artist in a thoughtful display. Arrange the 4 stages and the door will obey. Unlock the path ahead as art lights your way. grand ship on the open sea. The sinking of a ship. Some of these paintings are really dark and sinister. A young woman screaming in the middle of the darkness. Those poor souls. Tragedy seems to have cast a long shadow over this family. Locked, as expected. There's a metal engraving of a tree.
It's not here. It's simply not here.
This must be the Countess's handwriting. What was she searching for? Looks like a commercial seaman's yearbook, listing ships and their crews. It's open to the pages under S. A boarded-up door. The access to the servants' quarters appears to be blocked for some reason. Something definitely happened here. Was it a struggle? These broken chairs. Someone must have held them to the ground with great force. Some of these tools have been bent, likely trampled over. A silver knife is missing, and it's nowhere to be found. Likely taken by the same person who caused all this destruction. It looks like this vase was shattered. Not just dropped, but smashed with intent. Looks like the crowbar is broken. No doubt, this is the cook's room. A good way to motivate the staff. A backgammon board. One of the oldest board games. Miss Marva apparently knew her way around the tarot. What a dreadful spread, and what a chilling omen it revealed. Evil approaches. It will bring death, and lay ruin to the house and all who dwell within. Lady Margaret, after the death of her daughter, dismissed the staff and left the mansion. A pair of blood-stained scissors stuck in the sink basin. Deeply unsettling. Who the devil is that man? He had a knife. I'm completely in the dark here. I don't think he saw me. Is there someone else in the house? Another boarded-up door. The question is, was it sealed before the murder? And why? This must be Walter Brandon's room. A compass and a sextant. tools of a sailor. An empty bottle. It smells of good rum. The painting of a ship, unmistakably in Elodie's style. The diary of Walter Brandon. Perhaps it holds some clues about who he was, and what his involvement in this case might be.
I am terrified that man has found me. I fear something dreadful is about to happen. Tonight as I awoke, I saw him, standing at the foot of my bed. I could not make out his face, but his knife. The gleam of its blade shone in the darkness. I sprang up suddenly, determined to confront this stranger. Grabbing the heavy candlestick from the nightstand, I hurled it with all my strength. He vanished into the dark.
What on earth happened? Did Walter also see the mysterious man with the knife? It's absurd. This occurred 20 years ago. Surely that man can't still be lurking about. Can he? A model ship. Mr. Brandon must have felt a deep yearning for the sea.
Coming here was a grave mistake. He has followed me, watching and lurking in dark corners, waiting to surprise me. I dare not tell Elodie. She would think the one thing I dread most for her to believe. I see him again from the window, watching me. His long hair and beard obscure his face, and he still holds that knife. He means to kill me. I am losing my faculties. It is best I return to the ship. Everyone seems to be conspiring against me. The housekeeper despises me, accusing me of misconduct. Perhaps I'm not a man of refinement, but I know what respect is. Yet this morning, as I woke from my rest, she was enraged with me. It was of no use to tell her I had slept peacefully. An external maid who comes to clean was crying and accusing me of having approached her in an unseemly manner. I would never do such a thing. I am a sailor, a man of the world. I know how to conduct myself.
The last entry in the diary, dated the very night of the murder.
My beloved Elodie, why can you not believe this poor sailor who only wishes to love you? I have left everything behind. My ship, the sea, all my world, just to be by your side as you asked me to. Damn it. I can hear the man with the knife coming up the stairs from the hall. I need to hide.
Walter was terrified. What in the devil was happening here? It seems this trunk was all Walter owned. I should take a look at it. A photograph of Elodie. No doubt Walter cared for her deeply. looks like the key to the back garden. I better head back to the staircase gallery. Pretty sure I saw a door to the outside there. Seems I'm not the only one with a fondness for hats. The killer likely fled through the rear door of the house. Here's the missing kitchen knife. Undoubtedly the murder weapon. It's clear that the man who killed Elodie discarded his blood-stained clothing during his escape. Despite his injuries, the killer rid himself of anything that might incriminate him before fleeing the scene. The boots, the coat, even the knife. It's a chilling thought, but those very items remind me of the figure seen lurking near the manor. The same figure Walter Brandon spoke of with such dread, and perhaps the very one who was said to have harassed the maids. That mysterious presence was, in all likelihood, the murderer of Elodie Fordside. At that old fountain in the garden, now little more than a basin of stagnant water, one can still make out the faint impressions of bloodied hands. It seems almost certain the killer stopped here, in a hurried attempt to wash away some of the blood spattered across his body. The gate still bears the macabre traces of that old tragedy, like a silent witness, pointing to the path taken by that murderous beast as he fled. This ought to do the trick for that boarded-up room upstairs, just by Walter Brandon's room. unlabeled liquor bottles. The damp and the passing years have likely worn away whatever once marked them. There's a distinct scent of wormwood, the plant at the heart of absinthe. Thujone, its active compound, could provoke hallucinations. Visions said to come straight from the goddess Artemis herself. A sharpening wheel. Lord Fordside likely crafted his own chisels. Lord Fordside was a gifted artist, no doubt, but his work betrayed a dark and tormented soul. This unfinished fallen angel stirs in me a curious sense of unease, almost repulsion. The door is locked. I'll need to find the key. Him again. Who the bloody hell are you? This room looks like it belongs to a woman. Lady Margaret, perhaps? The bed is made. The Countess hadn't yet gone to bed on the night of the murder.
This is a nightmare. I am deeply concerned for Elodie. The housekeeper has long been warning me about Walter. I have made some inquiries, and nothing is as it seems. Elodie remains blissfully happy with him in the house. I am at my wit's end. Since her return from the sanatorium, she has been positively radiant, a true beacon of light. They go out together and seem to have a splendid time. He appears very close to her. This is in stark contrast to the picture painted by the housekeeper, which is a complete contradiction. Last night I heard him scream. He seemed to be in the throes of a panic attack. I approached on tiptoe to the guest quarters, and then suddenly I was struck with terror. An insane, maniacal laughter echoed through the night. It did not sound like him. The following morning, Walter and Elodie went out to sail on the pond. Everything appeared normal, and he was the most charming he has ever been.
Seems Lady Margaret was reading in the chair that evening. The book's still open, right where she left it. It's a damn fine bottle of wine. No one in their right mind would open a vintage like this and leave it abandoned, unless something rather urgent interrupted the evening. Something made of glass has shattered here.
Oh my God, what is that that noise? It's coming from Elodie's room.
I should finish gathering all the clues from the Countess's room before exploring other parts of the house. The fireplace tools, all knocked over on the floor, and unless my eyes deceive me, the poker appears to be missing.
Oh my god, Elodie!
Lady Margaret, quite agitated, grabbed the fireplace poker and rushed toward Elodie's room. A key. Likely the one to Elodie's room. Lady Margaret lied to me. She hadn't taken any sleeping draught that night. She could have heard the attack and rushed to see what was happening. Why did she hide this from me? The more I investigate, the more convoluted it all seems. I should head to Elodie's room to search for answers. A pool of dried blood. There's no doubt now. This was the scene of the crime. A rag doll, tossed on the floor. I'd wager it used to sit neatly on the bed. Either it was knocked over in the scuffle, or perhaps Elodie dropped it herself in the panic. Photograph of Elodie Fordside and Walter Brandon. If my memory serves me right, looks like it was taken at Westland Asylum. There was a struggle here, clear as day. Not a clean break-in. The killer wasn't subtle. Judging by the sheer brutality of the crime, we can almost certainly conclude the killer was a man of considerable build. The blood-stained coat, found alongside the greenhouse knife, suggests that the mysterious figure seen loitering nearby may, in fact, be the very same individual who committed the murder. They say the killer always returns to the scene of the crime. But 20 years have passed. Why now? Let's attempt to reconstruct the events, just as they might have unfolded that night, and try to understand precisely what happened. A teacup on the bedside table. Elodie must have lain down that night, perhaps already drifting to sleep. The door's lock, completely broken, indicates someone forced their way into the room, likely startling Elodie awake. Elodie tried to flee, but the killer cornered her near the vanity. She lost her balance and fell, breaking the dresser and chair. The killer dragged her to the bed against her will. In the struggle, one of the vases fell from the mantelpiece. On the bed, the killer stabbed her mercilessly, again and again, staining the sheets with blood. That's when Lady Margaret arrived, striking the killer with the fireplace poker, knocking him away from Elodie. Wounded, the killer fled the scene, but it was already too late. Elodie was already dead. The old Bloomsbury mansion. It choked my thoughts. It had that kind of sadness that seeps into your bones like old damp, and that sudden abandonment, so clear before my eyes, looked like a sinister time capsule. One thing was certain. My next move was to dig up answers about the man with the knife, and about Walter Brandon, the sailor from Westland Asylum, an old, forgotten sanatorium that, 20 years ago, was the scene of a meeting between Elodie Fordside and that Brandon fellow. It was an ungodly hour when my battered car crept along the winding, shadowed road leading to Westland Asylum. What I found upon arrival was disquieting. The building, forsaken for more than a decade, remained illuminated. Was it some ancient emergency system defying the passage of time? Or was someone awaiting my arrival? The front door, sealed shut. As expected. Nothing's ever straightforward, is it? I'll have to find another way in. So, there's an alternative entrance, hidden somewhere in the wall of the asylum. Bloody hell, it's pitch black in here. Looks like I've stumbled into what could be the kitchen. Damn it. The lantern. It's broken. I'll have to manage without it for now. Some of the rooms are completely trashed. I didn't expect the asylum to be in such a state of decay. A bloody handprint. Someone injured must have leaned against this wall.
The girl? How is the girl?
You mean Miss Elodie Fortside? Don't worry, that bloke didn't lay a finger on her. But you took quite a knock. This is going to smart.
The asylum was shut down 10 years ago. Judging by the state it's in, they probably had no choice but to close it due to the building's condition. Some basic rules, but quite necessary, I must say. Westland Asylum was a top place in its good old days. May 1922. This letter was written half a year before Elodie's murder. It's possible she was still a patient here at the time. The nurses were genuinely concerned about the aggression of patient B03. It's locked. Without the key, I won't be able to access the upper floors. This file cabinet is now empty. It probably held all the records of the inpatients. I need to find Dr. Sheridan's office.
We must formalize the admission of Miss Elodie Fortside. I have her file here.
That girl? What do you think of her?
I don't quite know. She seems a good girl. I do hope she recovers soon.
I know what Dr. Mulder thinks of her.
Oh, don't be wicked.
You cannot tell me you haven't noticed. Have you seen the way he looks at her?
Shh, hush now. Someone's coming.
It seems the nurses were gossiping about a certain Dr. Mulder, who appeared to be especially taken with Elodie. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Mr. Morley, is that you?
Lady Margaret?
Mr. Morley, I'm so relieved to hear your voice. I've been trying to reach your office, but I couldn't get through to anyone.
It's awfully late at night, Lady Margaret. How on earth did you know I was at Westland Asylum?
Well, I was already in bed, truth be told. But there was something on my mind. A vital detail I'd forgotten to mention. I called your office, searched for you at the mansion, and when I couldn't find you there, I assumed you might be investigating at the asylum.
I see. Very resourceful of you. Now tell me, what is this detail of such importance?
Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot. You see, the truth is, I'm afraid that you're not alone.
What the devil does that mean? Hello? Lady Margaret? Is someone there? Damn it. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Reclassified after initial misidentification. Miss Myron presents with severe self-destructive behaviors. She engages in autosarcophagy, self-cannibalism that has markedly compromised her physical integrity, and compulsively ingests her own hair. These actions, driven by deep psychological torment and overwhelming despair, leave her in a perilously fragile state. As a precaution, she is secured in a straitjacket and confined to an environment entirely devoid of any utensils or objects that might facilitate further self-harm. Her treatment protocol centers on the administration of potent sedatives to alleviate anxiety and curb these impulses, with ongoing monitoring. Internal report. Patient B03, identity unknown. Male, early 30s. Admitted after being the cause of a series of violent incidents. The patient exhibits a disturbing duality. Episodes of unprovoked, nearly superhuman aggression, displaying raw, overwhelming physical force, and subsequent plunges into an eerie, profound apathy. His faculties appear suspended during these lulls, leaving him in a state of unnerving inertia. Due to the unpredictability of his violent outbursts, he remains confined within a reinforced cell. Treatment involves high doses of sedatives, potassium bromide or morphine, and a regimented course of electroconvulsive therapy, alongside stringent restraints, such as an anti-biting mask and, if required, an iron muzzle. Ongoing monitoring is maintained. maniac whose actions have repeatedly endangered both property and life. Despite his seemingly frail build, he harbors an alarming compulsion for fire setting, a tendency exacerbated by intermittent episodes of disorganized thought and incoherent speech under duress. His unsettling, fixed gaze suggests the planning of covert schemes, amplifying his threat. To mitigate risk, he is isolated in a secure cell, thoroughly cleared of flammable materials. His management includes a regimented program of sedatives and antipsychotic medications to stabilize his manic and schizoid symptoms, with vigilant oversight maintained.
This room gives me the shivers.
I need to hide. Quickly.
I can't hear it. Could it be gone? A cigarette case, with a bit of tobacco still inside. Clean water, an apple, a bit of bread, the food still fresh. A maintenance uniform, oddly well prepared. Not a speck of dust on it. Looks like someone's been coming through here. Perhaps this is what Lady Margaret meant in her call. Or was she trying to warn me about something else? I'd rather not go through there. Looks ready to cave in at any moment. Here it is. Dr. Sheridan's office. This is where I'll find Elodie and Walter's records. Elodie's record. Patient at the sanatorium. Nothing of interest here. Strange. Elodie's record was easy to find, but there's no sign of anything related to Walter Brandon. Something doesn't add up. What am I missing? Wait. No, it can't be. There he is, in the photo. Dr. Sheridan in the center. And right next to him, it's him. The man with the knife. That wild mane, that unkempt beard, it's unmistakable. But what's he doing here? And he's holding a book. What was that noise? Sounds like something just came crashing down. Impossible. Locked as well.
Patient recording, Elodie Fordside, February 3rd, 1922. Daily record number 23. Let us begin. How are you feeling today, Miss Fordside?
I feel well.
Elodie, we have discussed this before. If you do not tell me how you truly feel, we will make no progress.
I feel a little sad, perhaps. I am alone here. I miss my mother and having company. So much time with nothing to do makes me think of things I do not wish to think of.
I see. Listen, Elodie. I believe you are looking at this the wrong way. If, instead of dwelling on what you call dark thoughts, you were to focus on possibilities, your outlook would change entirely. A young, beautiful woman such as yourself should look to the future with excitement. Think of all the adventures that lie ahead. Your family, your career as a painter. Perhaps even finding a man of good standing. One who could protect you from your demons.
A man?
Tell me, Elodie, is there no man who stirs your heart?
What in God's name do you think you're doing?
Miss Fordside, you may go. We shall continue later.
Very well.
Have you lost your mind? Where is your professionalism?
Do not presume to judge my methods with your oh-so-righteous reading therapy.
Methods? The entire hospital is whispering about you. She is a patient, Dr. Mulder, and she is mentally unwell.
Listen, Ferdinand. Stay out of my affairs, and I shall stay out of yours. Or have you forgotten which one of us is the director of this institution?
Do as you please. But if I ever witness such a scene again, I will not remain silent.
Damn fool.
The Adventures of Walter Brandon, the intrepid captain of the Stella Maris, braving the treacherous South Seas. What in the devil does this mean? a ship's old helm, tied to the bed, as if it were the quarterdeck of a vessel. That hospital screen is positioned like the sail of a ship. Stella Maris. That was the name of the ship captained by Walter Brandon. This room is the room of a madman. The entire space is arranged as if it were the deck of a ship. Did that man truly come to believe he was a character in an adventure book?
This must be the key to the attic. Let's see where it leads.
Looks like Elodie found herself a little hideaway to keep practicing her dark craft. Powerful drugs for depression. Anxiolytics. The girl improved, but it seems the doctors were baffled by her mind. Elodie found painting, and with it, a way to spill the shadows that crawled through her mind. Their secret hideaway. Like two reckless teenagers, they started a romance, hidden from the prying eyes of doctors and nurses. An alarm clock. Most likely, they used it to slip back to the second floor before anyone noticed they were gone. Yet, for a while, they managed to keep their affair in the shadows, far from the eyes of doctors and nurses. Hair on the chair, strands on the floor. This is where the transformation took place. A pair of scissors and a comb. Elodie put in real effort to make him fit the mold of her ideal hero. She remade patient 1365 in the image of her most secret longings. The room's been decorated to resemble some sort of island in the South Seas. Of course, I should have guessed. She pulled him into her world. Elodie created Walter Brandon. A draft letter, scratched out and full of corrections. She goaded him into leaving the sanatorium. That man was desperately ill. But Elodie's selfishness outweighed what little sense she had. She pushed him too far. This letter. At the very least, it's highly inappropriate.
Patient number 1365 returns after an absence of 4 months. He's in a state of utter disorientation, perspiration pouring off him, and good heavens, there's a severe wound to the skull. His clothes and hands are covered in blood, and it doesn't appear to be his own. He cannot recall his name, nor anything that's happened during these past months. Seems to have found his way back here more by some strange instinct than by memory itself. The personality once known as Walter has vanished entirely, as has the entity we refer to as the Shadow, though given his nature, I cannot say with certainty it isn't still lurking beneath the surface. We have treated cases of dissociative identity before, but never one such as this. His appearance, his voice, even his build and weight change quite drastically. Now he looks frail, gaunt, empty, as though there's nothing inside, as though he were but an empty shell, waiting to be occupied. His condition calls for far stricter supervision. This This institution is no longer equipped to care for him. I am ordering his immediate transfer to St. Dymphna Hospital. Dr. Former, a specialist in matters such as this, will take him under his care. As I near the end of my tenure as director, I must see this case brought to a decisive close. The blood upon his hands, the emptiness in his eyes, all point to an act of the gravest kind. One his mind appears to have erased entirely. God help us, if the shadow should ever wake again.
So it seems Walter came back to the sanatorium of his own accord, though he was utterly incapable of recalling what he'd done. They moved him to St. Dymphna's Hospital. Could he still be there after 20 years? What became of him? I'll have to follow this lead. That man returned to the new sanatorium, remembering practically nothing. Maybe it was the wound Lady Margaret left him. Or maybe his mind shattered and never came back after what happened that night. As for me, I was hired to find the one who killed Elodie Fordside, and my intuition told me they were still there, in the depths of St. Dymphna. I sensed that the end of the road was waiting for me in that place. Can't very well saunter in through the front door as if nothing's amiss. I'll need to find another way in. It's locked. It's locked. The night shift nurses are behind this door. I need to find another way into the hallway to the rooms. John Morley and the case of the red shoes. What the devil does this mean? Lady Margaret.
That fateful night, I was startled by the noise, those wretched cries of agony from dear Elodie. I rushed to her chambers, and there you stood, stained with the blood of the one soul I cherished above all others in this world. The housekeeper had warned me, but I turned a deaf ear. Elodie was finally happy, even amidst your incessant bouts of volatility. Yet, with the passage of time, your demeanour darkened. More and more frequently, that sinister presence lurking within you began to surface, each appearance more violent than the last. Elodie no longer gazed upon you with the starry-eyed affection of a smitten young woman. The atmosphere in this house grew suffocating, fraught with an unbearable tension. That very afternoon I spoke with her. She had resolved to end your engagement. You seemed, or so I dared hope, to have accepted it with grace. But that night, that very night, you ended her life in the most savage manner imaginable. I threw myself upon Elodie, desperate to save her. But alas, it was far too late. Months later, I learned you had returned voluntarily to the sanatorium. I sought answers and immersed myself in understanding the afflictions that plagued you. Dissociative identity disorder, they called it. A condition in which one might host multiple identities, each vying for dominion over the body. But the man confined in that bleak institution was not the shadow, not the fiend who had stolen my daughter. No, he was but the shell, the hapless vessel. And I yearned to find the true culprit, not the facade, the murderer himself. Thus I devised my plan. I came to visit you, and just as Elodie had done, I crafted a new role for you, a new identity to inhabit. I brought books, personal artifacts, penned letters as Penny. I leased an office and prepared every detail meticulously, down to the smallest thread, for your return as John Morley. Everything had to be flawless. And why, you may ask? To make you remember, to awaken the shadow, to summon forth the murderer from the abyss of your fractured mind. John Morley is a good man. Walter Brandon was a spirited young sailor, brimming with love for Elodie. But the shadow was a merciless, unrepentant killer. I wanted to destroy the murderer who had stolen my daughter. But I could never bring myself to harm an innocent man. My obsession, my singular purpose, was to awaken the shadow.